Greetings, Atlas Corps community. Welcome to our Hilton Humanitarian Prize Laureate Virtual Leadership Institute celebration. My name is Abby Robinson. I am the Chief Strategy Officer, and most important, I'm a Class 2 alum, having served in Bogota, Colombia. Today, we congratulate Cohort 5, the Hilton Humanitarian Prize Laureate Virtual Leadership Institute Scholars, or as we like to say, the Hilton Scholars. In May 2021, we officially launched this Leadership Institute. It was a new collaboration between the Conrad and Hilton Foundation and Atlas Corps. Now, here we are, approximately 7 months later. Today is an opportunity to reflect on how each of us has grown, changed, and adapted as an individual, as well as how we have formed a new community amongst these Hilton Scholars. So really a special congratulations to this group of dynamic individuals. We are so grateful for all of you for participating in the first round of this new initiative and in helping us launch our first year of the Virtual Leadership Institute. We're also very appreciative of the support of the Conrad and Hilton Foundation for their belief, support, and assistance in implementing this dynamic opportunity. So today, our celebration is all about bringing together different individuals within this community. We're going to hear from them as they share their perspectives and inspirations as professionals, as well as part of this community. So we are glad you are joining us here today. So the first person I would like to welcome to our virtual stage is the CEO and president of the Conrad and Hilton Foundation, Peter Lawharn. Peter is a passionate leader with 25 years of foundation and nonprofit experience internationally, with a focus on improving the well-being of vulnerable children. A graduate of Stanford and Georgetown universities, Peter holds a PhD in education from the University of London. He was a Peace Corps volunteer in Morocco from 1982 to 1984, and he was the co-founder of the International Education Funders Group and the Coalition for Children Affected by AIDS. And he serves on the boards of the Council of Foundations and the Pacific Council for International Policy. So please join me in welcoming Peter.
Thank you, Abby. It's really wonderful to see leaders from so many Hilton Prize Laureate organizations here today. And I've heard the anecdotes from you all, as well as from our friends at Atlas Corps regarding the first ever Prize Laureate Virtual Leadership Institute. Great to be able to say that phrase. The goals of this program were twofold from our perspective. The first was to provide time and space to bring together the laureate community in an engaging way, beyond what we had always done with an annual gathering of the CEOs, to go deeper into the organizations. And then the second goal is to support you, the next generation of humanitarian leaders working at some of the most noteworthy nonprofits around the world. So we think there's great power in both of these things. There's power in the laureate community coming together, and there's power from learning from you, the next generation, in supporting your work, in developing yourself and developing others, and building movements in your work and in your communities. So we at Hilton have seen the word cloud that you all developed describing your experience, and I have to say we love it. The continent-shaped word cloud is a first for me, and I think it describes the experience that we hope that the Virtual Institute would bring. The words leader, developing, community, and global are very prominent. And for us, as well as you, these words are central to the VLI experience that we'd hope for and critical for our world today. Coming into the field of humanitarian and development work, I think we all know the importance of community to humanitarian leaders and to advancing social impact. It's where we do our work, but it's also where we draw our inspiration from. And plus, those communities are local, but they are also global. And I know you know that in your work. We hope this experience of the Institute has allowed you to reach out, to broaden, to gain other perspectives that your daily work might not have given you. We want to be mindful of the central importance of development, both to the continued vitality of the organizations you work for and to your growth as individuals, both for the long haul commitment that sustainable development will require of all of us, but also for the development of your individual skill over your careers. The last 2 years, I don't need to say it, but have been a great time of social and physical isolation. And we've seen all of these needs around us manifest more obviously. But despite your physical isolation, you, the majority of Hilton laureates, have come together with and for one another in a powerful community. You've shared struggles, you've shared opportunities, you've been candid with one another, you've had virtual weekly coffees to get to know one another, and I'm told you will be launching, or you have launched, what you hope will be lifelong connections. I think the community of the Hilton Laureate Scholars has great potential to grow and thrive in the years to come, and it's always the first cohort that has the especially tight bond. I hope you will continue to come together, to lean on one another, and to use the power of this community to further your own professional goals, whether through your leadership projects or beyond. You are also pioneers within your own organizations, who we hope will be followed by other fellows over time. Our hope is that as cohorts of fellows grow within laureate organizations, the individuals within those cohorts will provide inspiration, ideas, and guidance to one another and to their whole organizations. So we want to know how it goes. Please don't be a stranger. Maggie, Hannah, the rest of the prize team, and I myself, we all want to hear from you, to hear what you're working on, to know where you see opportunities for this group to continue to come together, whether that's online or eventually in person. And thank you for your work and your dedication to social impact. So now let me turn it back over to our friends at Atlas Corps. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter. We always appreciate your inspirational words. And I love this focus on community, because that is really what we have created here, and we will continue to see it grow. It's just the startings. So thank you for the support, and thank you for sharing these words. And now let's hear from some of those members of this community, the cohort that represented the Hilton Scholars. We have 3 individuals today who participated throughout these months, got to know one another all across the world, across different time zones, and shared their own personal experience and grew together. The first person I'd like to welcome is Courtney Calardo from BRAC, and is based in the United States and actually based in Washington, D.C. As Senior Communications Manager, Courtney oversees the overall development and implementation of BRAC's Ultra-Poor Graduation Initiative's communication strategy. Courtney brings 10 years of experience in strategic communications with a primary focus on international development. She has provided strategic communication and partnership development to support social entrepreneurs with innovative evidence-based solutions, as well as engaging with key partners, and also worked at USAID. Courtney graduated from Indiana University, Bloomington, with a BA in Journalism and International Studies, focusing on human rights and photojournalism. Love this background. So Courtney, please join us and let's hear your thoughts and inspiration.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me today. I'm really honored to be here and to be representing our cohort. It was a really exciting and thought-engaging and thought-provoking experience for me. One in which I've really come to appreciate, as it forced me to create space and time and provided me with the tools and exercises necessary to think about, some of the current challenges that I personally am facing as a leader and grappling with, but also that our organization is working to address and some of the opportunities that we're hoping to take advantage of in the near future. So some of the kind of lessons learned, I guess, that I culled together from this experience, that really helped me take advantage of this experience, was just initially taking time to think through some of my own strengths, areas of improvement, as well as the opportunities and challenges that I face in my current job, and how my staff contributes to these, but also is affected by them. And then using the exercises, particularly some of the electives that I really appreciated, as well as the leadership project, to think through these real-time challenges and opportunities, to identify how my strengths and areas for improvement could affect them, and how I can use my strengths to advance myself and my team toward our overall goals and use them to help support the professional development of my team, as I'm a new manager of personnel in the last 2 years. And that's something that I'm really growing in. So this came at kind of the perfect time before we grow as a team, but also as an organization. And then, taking advantage of the access to the peers who also work in social impact, but also the coaches we were assigned to, and their learnings and expertise, and how it could help us further, expand our own understanding of ourselves as leaders and what's needed in order to support our team and our colleagues, and thinking through, the kind of support that's needed to be able to do that. So I've really appreciated all of that. There's still a lot of work. I consider myself a work in progress with much to do. My leadership project was something that was only in the initial stages at the beginning of this project, and is something that we have yet to begin the implementation, but took this opportunity to do a lot of the internal thinking and groundwork necessary for my leadership project to be successful, which is to expand globally. And in order for us to expand globally in a successful and efficient manner, we really have to clean up some of the internal processes and functions of the team, as well as ensure that we have a very strong and stable culture. So a lot of the exercises are really useful in helping me to think through some of those things. So that's my 2 cents on the program. Again, thanks so much for having me. It's been a wonderful experience, and something that I hope will continue on through conversations with some of the peers and my coach that I've been introduced to through this program.
And I so agree. We are all a work in progress. And I really appreciate you just sharing that openness of how you learn, and especially as you've become a supervisor, that openness and willingness to learn from others. And that's really what this is about, that none of us have all the right answers, but we can reach out to others and get that perspective. So thank you for participating, and also thank you for sharing that perspective, and good luck with the ongoing leadership project, as well as with growing and strengthening your team this year and into next. Excellent. Now, our next speaker, we're going to zoom to the other side of the world, and we're going to hear from Marvin Ngosa, who's with PATH and based out of Zambia. And what I love, we had Courtney, who brings a communications, strategic planning background, and Marvin is an IT specialist with an extensive experience in information technology, and particularly within the health industry. He has more than 10 years of experience within the IT field, of which 7 have been spent working in a number of international NGOs, holding various technical positions. He is currently serving as Regional Systems Administrator, East and Southern Africa at PATH. Marvin has always been passionate about promoting good health and a green environment through technology, and is a champion for promoting the use of technology for healthcare workers to foster development and innovation in the health sector, a key topic now more than ever. He has been a key player in implementing robust health systems within Zambia's Ministry of Health, and his interest mainly lies in developing cloud-based information systems that transform problems into innovative solutions or services. Wow. Marvin, join us and share more with us. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Abby, for having me. It's really a pleasure to be a part of the community. And we've seen community is really one of the words that is coming out oftenly within the institution and across our diverse areas of influence. Yeah, so wow, it's been really great being a part of the VLI. I mean, before joining the program, I knew so little about the social leadership changes and everything, but the 7 close to 8 months that we've been in the program has really been transformative for me, both professionally and personally. And I remember when I received the invitation to join the institution from our CIO, I was like, it was one of those leadership projects that I've had to attend before. But boy, was I so wrong. This has been over the top, and the experience has really been exceptional. And I am a changed person from what I was 7 months ago to what I am today. It has really been so exceptional. So my whole VLI experience really, from the way the program was arranged, I mean the modules, the assignments, the electives, the collaborations that we've had through Slack, the virtual coffee talks. It's really been great. More especially, I was really, really looking forward to the launch course because they were just setting a new tone for me in terms of the energy levels, from the various members within the community, within the institution, other scholars. It really set a tone for me to push, to really give it an extra push. Looking forward to the next module, and everything was just over the top. I mean, the team really did a great job with arranging all our all our exercises and all our electives. So one of the things that really I've been passionate about, and I really never had a platform for me to bring out this passion, being an IT. I've always been on the other side of implementation, implementing programs and other systems. But this was really, really totally different, and it was really outside of my comfort zone. But the experience has been overwhelmingly, it is beyond description, to say the least. Yeah. So one of my passions really is promoting the well-being of so many marginalized women around the world, specifically within my country, and this is what really led me to looking at the leadership that I've been working on from the time that I started the program. It is still in its initial stages, and moving forward, I really want to carry this through because I've had now the skills, the knowledge that I've acquired through the institution, really help me to push forward and work with other experts within the health industry, other team members within my organization. Really, it is something that I plan to foster ahead and be able to bring about change within my community and just overall in the health industry. Yeah. So coming into the VLI, like I mentioned, I knew very little about developing projects as I was on the other end of implementation. Yeah, but going through the learning performance wheel, which we did in the last module, I discovered that I've actually grown so much, and I've learned invaluable lessons that I will cherish for the rest of my life. I started developing the project and learning about the Kellogg's theory of change logic model, and actually working on one. It was really exciting and scary, but at the end of the day, we managed to push through. And the support that I've been getting from the other scholars and other peers has really been awesome. And one fun fact is the majority of the virtual coffee talks that I've had is I've had them with women. So I've really received so much insight for my project, and the support has really been overwhelming, and really so many mixed emotions, and it will really carry the day for me as an individual, and also as a leader in my setting. And one of the things really that coincided with the program is I was just stepping into my leadership role, leading a small team of IT officers across the regions that I'm supporting in East and Southern Africa. So the exercises and the electives on leadership and just feedback and all, they really provided for me a place to critically think and be somebody who's able to listen more in as much as I'm in the leadership role. But it provided for me a platform to actually be able to listen to other people's views as well, in as much as I'm in the place of leadership. So that was really a perfect timing for me as a leader, so I've been in the IT space for as long as I can remember, and every day I'm interacting with systems, but coming into this space really pushed me a little bit further, to be to be able to do something that is totally different from what I usually do on a day-to-day basis. And Atlas Core really has changed my life in many ways I couldn't even imagine possible. You know, the skills that I've learned have given me the confidence and the proneness to do anything. And the experience, again, the last 7 months have been so invaluable, and I'm a changed me, you know. And I plan on making sure that the project comes to fruition. And in as much as I haven't been able to complete it within the program, but after this phase, it is something that I plan on pushing. And one other thing that I don't want to forget is the wonderful community of other scholars from around the world that have actually come to connect. And I believe the relationship that we've forged together I'll carry with them for the rest of my life. And it's a family that I never knew that I would have at any one point. And the coaches that we've been assigned with, they've really been wonderful, giving us invaluable feedback, and it has just been overwhelming, to say the least. So thank you so much, Atlas Core and the entire team that are working behind the scenes and making sure that we are on top of things. So thank you so much. And Abby, please, you can take it away from here.
Well, Marvin, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Atlas Core family. And what I think is so valuable, sometimes when people think of non-governmental organizations or nonprofit, they may only focus on the programs piece. And we also need IT specialists. And the role you play is so key in advancing the social impact work we're doing. And also echoing what Courtney said about how we're all leaders in our role, whether we're supervising one person, whether we're supervising a team. And it's amazing to hear how you grew in those leadership skills, and that you're combining your IT, you're helping inspire others through your work, and then you're also innovating. So thank you for that. I think it's such a good reminder of all the different types of skills and responsibilities that make up the international, non-governmental, nonprofit sector. So thank you, Marvin. We're excited to have you as part of our community. And now, to round out our scholar perspectives today, our last scholar speaker is Mary Mogana. Mary is from Kenya, and she's part of Shining Hope for Communities, which I think is also known by the acronym SHOFCO, which she can correct me when she comes on if I'm saying that correctly. So she serves in a grassroots organization, Shining Hope for Communities, which is based in the informal settlements of Kenya. And their work is to build urban promise from urban poverty. She coordinates the Future Education Program, whose goal is to educate a support model for SHOFCO graduates that continues to build on leadership skills, which we are such a big proponent of, resilience, and provision of psychosocial support. Mary is passionate about young adolescents and believes in the provision of equal opportunities to all. She is also passionate about mentorship as a means for young people to identify their potential and to become change makers in their communities. Oh, so many things that align with the Atlas Core mission and vision. Mary, join me on the virtual stage. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, and let's make sure. I think you're on mute. There we go.
Hi, Avi.
Welcome.
And of course, everyone else who is watching from across the globe. My name, as Abby said, is Mary Mogana. I serve in Shining Hope for Communities, and Abby, you are right. The abbreviation is SHOFCO. I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience in the Atlas Core Institute that I was able to participate in virtually for a period. It's been quite an awesome experience for me to be part of Cohort 5 Scholars this year. Every aspect of how the modules were planned and delivered was very deliberate to make an exclusive impact in each of us, more so myself. Always having been a hands-on fieldwork involved individual, I got a chance to set aside time to take part in this session, however best I could. I enjoyed the Canvas platform, which was very new to me. That was pretty new to me. The use of donut and coffee meetup out to hang was at another level of socialization that I've never thought was. This platform gave me a chance to network, interact, and learn one or two things and let it be noted. I then shared this with my colleagues at work, and they were very excited because it was one of those things we hadn't tried before, and it was nice for us to actually put this into practice. The strong network created through the peer coaching couldn't go unnoticed, and that was the place I learned the best. With a team of individuals who were affluent, knowledgeable, passionate about their service in their communities, and the project gave me the push and challenged me to do better each time. When I felt stuck and not ready to engage, I just always looked forward to those peer-to-peer mentorship, which were done in our group sessions. And I was always challenged one way or the other. And they always gave me a reason to look forward to those virtual sessions, as we would laugh and talk about our daily engagements, our projects, our challenges. We could always share our experiences on how we were getting along with our assignments. And I always came out with better ideas on how or what to do next to make the next move to being a better individual and a leader. And let it be known that this platform has been one of the most amazing platforms I have been. Having had other opportunities, I really appreciate this, I think, the most because it's the first virtual, session I've ever been engaged in. My experience as a social change leader in the future, I am aware currently through this platform how my everyday action and values relate to how I lead as a leader. More so being that I'm a mentor and someone who works closely with teenagers. I feel like as a social change leader, I am well equipped. I am more knowledgeable at this moment of how every action and value that I have relates to how these young people in the community see and perceive me, either positively or negatively. I am now more committed to paying close attention to issues within and around me as a fundamental element of effective leadership. With the understanding of the above, I'm confident in what I'm able to commit and engage into as a social leader, with commitment to see it through successfully, ready to face obstacles that may arise with a positive mindset of moving on swiftly rather than seeing the obstacle as a defeat. I am now well enabled to think critically and better as a leader should, and also give more, positive feedback to people, and as well be ready as a leader to receive feedback, which is one of the aspects that I believe most leaders do not tend to look at. My definition of leadership has really improved, not really per se changed, it's improved because there's so much I've learned through the modules that were presented to us, the activities that I got to engage in, and it's been really greatly expanded. My knowledge has been greatly expanded as I've had different views on what and whom a leader is, as most often we never tend to look as leaders as a person that serves rather than a person that dictates or just gets things done. I have better understanding of my strengths, my abilities and potential to grow by understanding one's aspect of views and thoughts of others, from team conflict resolution to problem solving and many other platforms that were set out for us to look at different sides of the coin. And the other exciting bit about the entire process is I got challenged or pushed to be able to look at my 2021 in a broad perspective as a coordinator and as a mentor on what 2021 had in store for me. And through the leadership project, I was able to look at the department I work in. And my project clearly touched on mental health sensitization. And I was doing this by keeping in mind that half of the mental health disorders in adults start by the age of 14. And this is the age group I am so passionate about. Students from as young as 10 years all the way to 24. That's my area of passion, my area of love. And because I believe there's so much we can do to be able to ensure that the next generation is actually well equipped to be able to manage themselves. So focusing on mental health issues for me was a direct touch. It's something that I understand from a Kenyan perspective. We haven't done so much around it. And one of the other things that pushed me towards this mental, the leadership project is the fact that SHOF as an organization had 3 years ago started, working on it as a platform to actually help or assist the people that serve here. And during COVID, since we were hit very hard, it was important for the organization to put as much effort into mental health issues. And I felt, why not stretch this out to our beneficiaries? Why not stretch this out to our community? And mental health awareness is a need in my community, but it's also true to say most persons don't view it as an African problem, more so not a Liberian one, where everyone is born to be tough in a tough environment, and thus they believe you grow up tough and ready to face all challenges that come your way. And thus it's not been easy breaking this barrier from cultural and beliefs. I targeted teenagers all the way to adults, and it's been a hassle, most of getting the adults into sessions because most of them are working, most hours. They're out there fending for their families, and most of them don't tend to get enough time for themselves. It's been also another challenge trying to break stigma from the governance point of view so that they can take up responsibility of having clear, of well-improved centers that can support people with mental health issues. And this, for me, is something I take at a personal level because I feel like there's so much as a country and as a community that we need to do to make sure that we break all these barriers. Changing the school calendar, of course, from a Kenyan perspective, we do 1 year all round, but for this period, we've been able to have students in school more than they would have been in school. And this has greatly affected most of the teenagers I directly work with, and even across the community, the one that I serve in the community. And I'm happy to be continuing with this leadership project through our future education department. It's something we've taken up by heart, and I'm excited about it and looking forward to actually 2022, where we get to do so much of the leadership project. My highlights during all these, live sessions, virtual sessions, is having the team I work with currently in the organization supporting what I started as a leadership project. For me, that's an excitement. And I've been able to convey or catch up with people across the globe, which I am so happy about, because even though I never got to meet all of you physically, I've been able to connect, link up, and also create good networks that I can actually connect with in the future. And the other thing, my highlight as well has been to learn so much on how to work from home, to learn so much on how to network. And lastly, having an amazing team in the Atlas Core, just being there to support us and work with us the journey. I am humbled to have been part of the team this year. And I do pray that whoever comes on board in the next cohort gets to learn as much as I got to do with the cohort members I was in. Thank you so much, and do have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Mary. And I agree. I am blessed to work with an amazing Atlas Core team. And you bring up so many great points. And I think it just emphasized that Atlas Core just created a model that was really fueled by all of you, by Mary, by Courtney, by Marvin, whether it was making the Kellogg theory of change exciting, whether it was making peer coaching part of what you do in your organization. Just commendations to all of you for taking this knowledge, making it vibrant, and really inspiring as well as challenging one another's, and then bringing that to your teams. So thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Marvin. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, all the scholars, for sharing your thoughts. And our final speaker for today, before we go on to actually acknowledge all of our scholars who are completing, is the Atlas Core CEO, Bidjan Nishat, who brings vast international experience to our organization. He comes to Atlas Core from Save the Children, and he has also worked as a strategy officer at the World Bank in Washington, D.C., and was part of the team that started Teach First Deutschland, which is a partner of the Teach for All Global Network. He has given lectures on project management, fundraising, leadership at leading business schools, the US Department of State, the World Bank, the US Institute for Peace. He studied at Yale and Georgetown universities and holds a Master of Public Policy from the Hertie School in Berlin. He grew up in the American sector of West Berlin and is the son of an immigrant from Iran and a German mother. And he currently resides in Washington, D.C. with his wife and daughter. And we continue to be inspired by the energy and vision he brings to Atlas Corps. So please join me. Welcome to Bidjan to the Front. Thank you for joining us, Bidjan.
Thank you so much, Abby, for having me. And thank you, everyone, and especially Peter and the Conrad and Hilton Foundation. I'm so inspired just listening, and I'm almost a little bit jealous that I couldn't be part of this cohort's exercise. As Abby mentioned, I spent the last decade working in humanitarian operations as well, and it reminded me of the time I spent there. So it's so special to bring people like you together to support each other. And I've heard family and community and peer support and mental health, and Mary, you pointing out a tough culture. And I've experienced that myself. And I want to share with you 3 examples of when I would have needed a community that you have built with this cohort. And the first one that came to mind was during the refugee response in Germany, when we had hundreds of thousands of young families and children come to Germany and Berlin, and we were trying to respond. And I felt, leading that response, that public opinion was turning against us. Our operations became more difficult. And I didn't have a peer group. And I would have wanted to ask a peer group like yourselves, how do I keep up hope in my team that we can continue this work, continue to fundraise, and continue to serve children? The second example that came to mind is from 2019. And Mary, your comment on being tough in this environment struck a chord with me. I spent a week visiting the prison camps in Myanmar, and my colleagues and children being imprisoned there for close to a decade by that time. And I left those prison camps proud of the work we do, but also not being able to really share. And to share what it feels like, to talk to people who have experienced similar things and have seen similar families struggle, be it in Syria or anywhere else, and be able to talk about those experiences. How do I keep up empathy while not giving up myself and staying well? That's what I would have brought to a cohort like yourselves. And I heard from you that you've been able to share some of those experiences. And the third one was last year when we were part of responding to what happened, an outcry on racial injustice, including in our own sector. And how I, in a leadership position, really struggled with realizing that some of my close colleagues were sharing experiences that I was not aware of. And how do I respond leading the team through that experience? And had I been part of a cohort like this, I would have been able to pick up the phone or Slack you or send you a WhatsApp message and say, I want to have a chat with you. Developing self starts with being okay, because you cannot lead others and develop others and lead movements if you're not well yourself. And having peers like yourselves step in and support each other in a psychological safe space is so important. So I'm telling you, I'm really jealous of that community, but I don't need to be anymore, because now we're all part of one Atlas Corps community. And thanks to the support of the Hilton Foundation, we will be able to continue that work in 2022. So Peter, thank you to you and the team. And I want to remind all of you of one thing. When you think of being part of the Atlas Corps community and you feel what you are feeling as part of this cohort, also think about the talent. Think about the talent that is out there in this community and beyond that we can connect with and bring into our organizations. Because our organizations need change. They need more diverse and different experiences in leadership. And we as an organization and as a community want to contribute to making that happen. So I'm really thankful for you, and I want to congratulate you for being part of this community, for having stuck with it online late at night and graduating today. And I am also very thankful that we can continue this work as an alumni community, but with the support of the foundation into 22. Congratulations, all the best, and I'm handing back to Abby to celebrate all of you individually.
And yes, that is an exciting announcement that we have renewed our collaboration with the Conrad and Hilton Foundation. So Cohort 1, you are the first, and we are going to welcome more Hilton Scholars next year. That is so exciting. So thank you for those inspiring words. And also thank you for reminding us that leading is not always easy, nor is it glamorous. And yes, we celebrate the highs as we're doing today. And we also need to walk with each other through those lows. And that is the value of creating communities such as we've done through the Leadership Institute, that we're there to celebrate and we're also there to support. So thank you for that great perspective and reminder that really helps summarize some of what's been happening over these years. And on that, some of you may be wondering, the Virtual Leadership Institute, what exactly have these Hilton Scholars participated in? So I'm going to run through some of those components. And as I do so, I also want to highlight some of the voices from this community. And so we're going to shout out some of the comments that we're seeing on social media. And we encourage you to keep those going. I know people are following via our Facebook live stream as well as our YouTube. So you see these great notes. So as I'm explaining the Institute, we're also encouraging you to read some of these comments. So the Institute is basically composed under these themes of developing self, developing others, and leading movements. So we have 5 learning modules and a series of activities and electives that are part of that. And so the scholars have been participating in what we call these launch calls, as Marvin mentioned, where we bring everyone together to kick off, whether that was orientation, whether that was the module on developing self. And they come together as a group, and then during the weeks between calls is when they have electives, such as working on the Kellogg theory of change. They also engage in peer coaching calls. So we put them in smaller groups, and we have a trained peer coach who's helping them engage and guide them through projects. And through that all, they have a leadership project that they've developed. And for some people, that is a community-based project, or it may be a project to enhance the organization they're working in, or it might be a personal development project. And so throughout this 7 months, they've been working on implementing that. And some of our scholars that shared today have talked about how those projects are impacting their work. And so our goal over these months of participation and into the future, that you are more self-aware, you're more team-oriented, you're more value-based, better networked, and more mission-centric. And so on that note, I want to shout out some of these graduates that we're celebrating today. And you can see their faces as well as their flags of the countries where they're from. And I'm going to shout out some of their names, and apologies in advance, as I may not be 100% accurate on how to pronounce the names, but my intention is sincere, and I want to give you that celebration that you deserve. So Adedapo, Animagara, Allison, Amanda, Anna, Basimenya, Benny, Bakash, Bree, Brittany, Courtney, Daniel, Diana Paola, Esther, Fiona, Gabriela, Godfrey, Iona, Janet, Junior, Katharina, Lamin, Lisa, Megan, Mamadou, Marvin, Mary, Shabab, Narissa, Nicole, Paige, Rachel, Salah, Vasia, congratulations. Shout yourself out on social media. Shout out your colleagues if you're watching. Shout out your friends. Join me in celebrating this group of Hilton Humanitarian Prize Laureate Virtual Leadership Institute scholars who have been part of this leadership journey over these months. And also our first cohort of Hilton Scholars. So congratulations. Of course, the Virtual Leadership Institute is made possible through a community effort. We have the support from the Conrad L. Hilton Foundation, as well as volunteers, donors, fellows, team, and more who inspired this leadership journey for these Hilton Scholars. And so I want to shout out some of those key individuals. Our global faculty. These are individuals who are part of our launch calls and our facilitator. So we had Jeremy Hymans, Dr. Marissa G. Franco, Marcia Florio, Victor Ruhano, who was one of our Cohort 1 scholars who shared his experience on that orientation call. Also, a special shout out and thank you to our peer coaches who walked with our Hilton Scholars over these months as mentors. They engaged in monthly calls and they shared insight and served as guides through this journey. Anne, Charmel, Christina, Anya, Mary Chris, Kimberly, Akil, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as you heard from Courtney, Marvin, and Mary, those peer coaching calls were instrumental to their involvement and success of this collaboration. And so I want to say thank you. Hilton Scholars, know that today is just the next step on your own leadership journey. And once a part of Atlas Corps, always a part of Atlas Corps. And as a part of the Atlas Corps team, and more importantly, as an Atlas Corps alum myself, I welcome you more fully into this community as this level of alumni. And I also am going to encourage you as we get ready to launch the next year of the Hilton Leadership Institute. I invite you to get involved. Help us to recruit those new individuals. Help us to engage. Maybe one of you want to become a peer coach. We want to continue to grow this community, to continue to see it thrive. And we look forward to your continued engagement. So keep us informed in what you're doing. Keep on making it big. Keep on shining within your own communities, organizations, as well as within global engagement. And so know that you have forever left an impact on Atlas Corps, and I'm confident that you will continue to positively impact our world. On that note, we're going to send you off with this special highlight video. As many of you may recall, Atlas Corps in 2021 celebrated our 15th anniversary. This is a milestone for any organization, and especially for Atlas Corps. And so this video shows what we have achieved as an organization, and we know that this is just the beginning, and we are glad that you are all a part of it. So congratulations, thank you, and here's looking to the future.
In 2006, Atlas Corps was founded to address critical social issues by developing leaders, strengthening organizations, and promoting innovations through an overseas fellowship and virtual learning programs of skilled professionals from around the world. Our community began with an inaugural class of 6 fellows who hailed from Colombia and India. In 15 years, Atlas Corps has empowered 1,100 leaders from 110 countries, partnered with 400 host organizations, US embassies, and our network of supporters to multiply impact domestically and worldwide. Atlas Corps leaders represent the richness of diversity, inclusion, and cultural awareness. Now, more than ever, we need to keep building bridges between social change leaders from around the world. During our 15th anniversary year, Atlas Corps continues to engage social change leaders as fellows and virtual scholars. Our fellows serve in the United States and virtually from their home regions. Virtual scholars enhance their professional skills, build global networks, and prepare for leadership in home communities during our Virtual Leadership Institute, a new online leadership development program launched by Atlas Corps in 2020. This year, we invite you to celebrate with us our 15th anniversary. Thank you for supporting our community of global changemakers. Thank you for supporting Atlas Corps.